behalf of Mayor Colvin and others, we have a number of distinguished guests with us this evening. Some of our members of the City Council are here. The Mayor, I'm sure, will introduce them. We're also glad to have Senator Clark and Senator Deviere with us. Thank you two gentlemen for being with us this evening. And before we have the presenting of the colors, I just want you to take a look at this group of people here. These are people who give back to our community every day. Some of them have been here for 45 years. The mayor, he's been in Fayetteville since there was dirt. But you have people that have been here just a year. Mark Zartha next week will be a year. People that have been here for decades and days. And I'm reminded of a saying that Winston Churchill said about giving. He said, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give." And you're going to be listening this evening to some of those who give. Would you please stand for the presenting of the colors? We're going to ask the mayor to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we're going to ask Victoria Huggins, the former Miss Fayetteville and former Miss North Carolina, to come. Victoria?
Present. Arms. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Order, arms. Order, colors. March time, march. Outward, pace.
Are you going to say something?
Forward, march.
1 minute, less than a minute.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. Well, it is my esteemed honor and privilege to say hello to all of you. Not only have I had the honor of living in the city of Fayetteville, well, I call myself an honorary Fayettevillian, I guess you can say, because I grew up in St. Paul's, which is just down the road, and I have served in the official capacity as Miss Fayetteville, and then the ultimate honor of being Miss North Carolina last year. Now, I have the privilege of coming back to serve my community, and I'd love to invite all of you to the Fayetteville Woodpeckers baseball games, because I am the brand new, 4 days in, y'all, manager of community and media relations. So go Woodpeckers!
Thank you, Victoria. People give. We spoke of that. But there's a gentleman that this evening, Dr. Anthony Wade, who has rolled up his sleeves these last 2 years and worked to make this one Fayetteville Unity Gathering a success. And I just want you to know, Anthony, I'm proud to call you a friend. I'm proud that you are leading this effort for the mayor. And God bless you, and thank you for all you do for our community.
Thank you, George, and good evening. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here at this celebration of unity in our community. At this time, I welcome the religious leaders behind me at the dais to come up and present an interfaith welcome and prayer.
I'm not as tall as Dr. Wade. In Jewish tradition, we often read a text and then reread it. We are said that for each of our texts, there are 70 faces to them. And so tonight, I want to present a text which is meaningful to me and also a reinterpretation of it for this moment, and then to offer prayer. In Ecclesiastes, in Kohelet, we read that there is a time for everything. A time to be born and a time to die, a time for building and a time for tearing down. And normally we're supposed to see these as opposite forces, that we build and we tear apart. But tonight, as we stand together, I'm thinking of all that we have to deconstruct in order to build. We tear down that which divides us, hatred and bigotry, fear of one another. And by taking all of that apart, by tearing down what holds us apart from one another, we are able to build Fayetteville together, standing as one in one community. As I invoke the words of my prayer and my God, I invite you in your hearts and your minds to hear the prayer through your own lens, that of your faith or your beliefs, whatever brought you tonight to this moment. Avinu Shabashamayim, God above, may we all tear down in each of our own selves what keeps us apart from others. May we tear down ignorance and hatred. May we tear down fear of one another so that we can build together. May we each be guided by you to sit not only at the dais, but also in community, working hand in hand as we move towards a greater Fayetteville, one community standing united.
Good evening. As I observe the gathering this evening, a thought comes to mind that I think is appropriate, and some of us were in attendance at the recently completed 26th annual Martin Luther King prayer breakfast that we enjoyed at the Expo Center. And in particular, I want to note an image that I believe reflects the reason that we are here this evening, that the speaker, Joseph High, shared, and those that were present will remember he had an image of a boat, and on one end of that boat, there was a hole. And the observation was, I'm glad I'm not on the end of the boat that has the whole, failing to remember everybody was in the boat. And I believe the reason that we are here this evening is because we recognize as a community, one Fayetteville, that we are in the boat together. And we are here to do, as the theme was, for the occasion of the 26th annual Martin Luther King Prayer Breakfast, seize the moment. We are here to participate in how we can make one Fayetteville better. Lord, we thank you tonight for our gathering. We recognize of one blood, you made all nations of men. We were made different, but our differences give us potential that we could not otherwise have. We ask that you help us as one Fayetteville to combine our efforts to realize the potential that's in us to be a better Fayetteville. Amen.
Good evening. My name is Randy Griffin, and I'm the current garrison chaplain on Fort Bragg. And I'd like to challenge us tonight to really consider the importance of this theme of unity, and especially, I think, religious unity for me. Unity within the community, and when I'd say community, I'd absolutely include Fort Bragg as part of this community. We are as much a part of this community, I think, as any of the other communities that surround the greater Fayetteville area. Some refer to us as a city within a city, but I can tell you the majority of our service members and their families, they live and they worship in the greater Fayetteville area. I do believe that there has never been a time in our recent history, not only as a city, but as a nation, that unity is needed more than it is today. I think the scriptures are right in urging those who seek to please God that we make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. And then we're told that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And against such things there is no law, the scriptures tell us. Our prayer should be for unity among believers and for religious leaders and churches to be able to come together in the name of unity and the name of love, and to serve our community to the best of our ability. We should pray for unity, I think, in families where there is division, in relationships where there is strife. We should pray for unity during times of disagreement and diversity. When it seeks to separate us, we should pray for unity. So with that in mind, would you allow me tonight to offer a prayer in my tradition that seeks to drive us to this goal? Pray with me. Father God, help us to see where we can be a catalyst for unity in this community and within the spheres of influence that you have granted to us. Grant me, Lord, your compassion for the brokenhearted. Equip me with strength and leadership to make an impact in the Fort Bragg and greater Fayetteville area for your glory. Bring the churches of this area together for the glory of God so that we might truly demonstrate the gifts of your Holy Spirit in a tangible way. Help our churches to grow together in love, seeking the common truth of your grace. Enable unity in the most intimate places, our families. Help families in this community to stand together in your word and in prayer. Where there are divisions, show us how healing can begin, and let there be peace. Show us how the beauty of unity can thrive in the midst of diversity. Where our families and our friendships, our community groups, and our churches experience disagreement, allow unity to invade all of those areas of our lives and show forth your glory in a greater way. Father God, we long for the day when swords will be beaten into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. We long for your peace and for the unity of your Spirit. This prayer I offer in the name of Christ. Amen.
Good evening. I am Marvin Connolly, Superintendent of Schools, your superintendent of your school system. Thank you, Mayor Colvin and Dr. Wade, for inviting me to share this evening in this wonderful opportunity of celebrating One Fayetteville. I was thinking about it earlier today that about 35 years ago, I came to this community, and then Bishop, I had an afro, Colonel Reed, and I was regretting losing my hair going to Fort Bragg. Now, over 30-some years later, I am here back in this same community trying to hold on to my hair. So thank you, and I am glad to be a part of this wonderful community once again. This community has grown in the last 35 years, so much that my children were babies when we lived on Fort Bragg, and I tried to take them over to Fort Bragg to Lemieux Street, where we used to live, but Fort Bragg has grown so much that GPS could not help me find the street. So tonight, we all represent different organizations, zip codes, races, religions, and socioeconomic backgrounds, but we share something in common. We all care deeply about our community, and we're all doing our part to make it an even greater place to live and to raise our children and to work. I'm here tonight representing the 51,000 students of the Cumberland County Schools and over 6,000 employees. Oftentimes, I say that we are the largest employer in Cumberland County, not counting Fort Bragg. And then I say because it's on an installation. As a school system, your school system, our core focus is to provide a world-class education to all of our students. Our work is directly connected to the quality of life our students will enjoy later in life and the economic vitality of our community. What we do in the Cumberland County schools today will in fact drive what becomes of Cumberland County and what becomes of Fayetteville. In the words of Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. We're tasked with preparing each student, regardless of their background, race, or life situation, with the skills necessary to compete in a global economy and to graduate 4 C's ready, able to communicate, collaborate, think critically, and be creative. And as Colonel Rodney Anderson would say, also to have a great career. However, as a school system, we know that we cannot do this work alone. It requires focus and effort from the entire community. So as we continue to develop our community-driven strategic plan, which is focused on improving the academic outcomes of students, the social, emotional, and behavioral outcomes of students. It will take all of us working together to ensure all students are prepared to succeed in school and in life and in their careers. You know this, and you're already working alongside us to create a new strategic plan. Since joining this great community again, I've been overwhelmed by the spirit of generosity and service in our community and beyond. Please know that the work you're doing in our community and helping us in our school system and our schools for our students is truly appreciated and needed. So on behalf of our Board of Education, as we continue to develop our strategic plan, we want not only to hear from you, but we want you involved. Because as I said earlier, what happens with the Cumberland County schools will drive what becomes of Cumberland County. Thank you, and God bless you.
Good evening. I, too, am gravitationally enhanced. Robert Van Giens with the Fayetteville Cumberland Economic Development Corporation. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be with you here tonight. And I say to you, my heart is full of optimism and hope for this community. And for a moment, you may question where unity and commerce connect, but upon further reflection, I'm certain that you will agree nations rise and fall not by the individual, but by the fate of the many. And I'm humbled by the support our elected leadership, the private sector, and our community has given me and my organization at FCEDC. And it's good when we can say 3,725 more people are working than a year ago. 1,200 jobs are available right now here in Fayetteville. More than 1 million square feet of industrial and office space is coming out of the ground. More than $2 million is being invested in our community. And we are pursuing projects that could bring 1,500 plus jobs to our citizens. But that's not enough. And we can do more. But no one person or entity can do it alone. I believe that you will never fly as high alone as you can together. Wild birds know this. In cooperation, they cover more ground with fewer resources, together safely arriving at a new horizon. It is only together that we can truly transform this community, breaking systemic economic cycles that are all but impossible for an individual to overcome alone, opening doors to economic empowerment, gainful employment, and generational equity. It is only together that we can inspire the next generation, lighting a path that leads them to an educated, prosperous future, for they are tomorrow's leaders and entrepreneurs. Many years ago, a friend of mine shared with me a quote by Edwin Markham, one told to him as a child in church in Shreveport, Louisiana. There's a destiny which makes us brothers. None goes his way alone. All that we send out into the lives of the others comes back into our own. Words cannot express how truly proud I am to be here with you. And assuredly, confidently, I say to you, together we can, together we will accomplish the incredible. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you to Mayor Colvin for inviting me to speak tonight, and thank you to Dr. Wade. I'd also like to thank Victoria for joining our team. As you all know, she could have accepted any position in North Carolina, and she chose to work with the Woodpeckers, so we appreciate it. My name is Mark Zarther. I'm the president of the Fayetteville Woodpeckers. I'm originally from Boston, and I moved here from New York City. And I accepted this position because I always dreamt of a career in sports. But shortly after arriving, I realized that this opportunity went well beyond sports. This position for me is about revitalizing downtown with so much potential. It's about bringing together a community and attending events such as this and meeting folks such as you all. And when I walk through downtown Fayetteville and in the community, I see a place with so much potential. The tree-lined streets, the cobblestone sidewalks, the original storefronts, the 1800s architecture. These characteristics are what people from the north, such as me, value in cities in the South. And There are cities like Savannah, like Charleston, that have qualities such as Fayetteville that bring in so much tourism, and I don't think there's any reason why we should feel that the same potential does not exist in Fayetteville. And I visited Durham after 12 years of not being in Durham, and I almost didn't recognize the city. The transformation that occurred there and the community improvement that occurred in Durham centered around a baseball stadium. And seeing the revitalization of downtown Durham, there's no reason that we can't replicate that same success. Durham is home to Duke University, but we are home to the greatest military installation in the world. And it speaks to the potential that exists here in Fayetteville. And this is more than baseball. It's more than just downtown. It's about creating a social gathering. It's about creating a place for the community to come together and to celebrate. And we will not just have baseball events. We will have concerts and food festivals and anything that the community is interested in having here, we can host. We are hiring over 250 jobs at the stadium, with the Prince Charles Hotel and the Hyatt Place Hotel going up next door. It's just another reason for so many people in the community to come together in downtown Fayetteville. And lastly, our farm system with the Houston Astros is one of the best in baseball. And our top players on the Houston Astros all played for our team. And the reason why I bring this up is because in 5 years from now, you'll be watching ESPN and you'll see a young man, being interviewed after hitting a game-winning home run, and you'll say, I know that kid. He was that 19-year-old kid from the Dominican Republic that began his career right here in Fayetteville and signed autographs for my kids and my grandkids. And I think that's something that we can all be proud of someday. So, I just want to reiterate, it's not about baseball. It's about bringing this community together in downtown Fayetteville. So thank you, Dr. Wade. Thank you, Mayor Colvin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tammy Lawrence, and I am the Chief Executive Officer for the Fayetteville Area Habitat for Humanity, and home is very important to me. My family and I settled here. We've been here for 25 years. My husband served in the military, and we made this our home. We chose Fayetteville. Some days I like to think that Fayetteville chose us too, but we definitely chose Fayetteville. And so when I think of unity, what immediately comes to mind is all of us working in one accord. And when I envision this, I see something akin to this flock of birds moving together in unison toward a shared purpose, an intentional direction. Scientists have actually studied birds to determine how they can so majestically move in an apparent rhythm that just seems effortless without running into each other. The scientists found 3 things. The birds maintain a minimum distance from each other. They're all flying at the same speed, and they always turn into the center. Always. And you know what? Fayetteville is our center. It's our home. And so I'm reminded of this flock of birds as I think about how nonprofits such as mine and local municipalities and governments, state governments, federal governments can all come together to act in one accord to solve affordable housing issues, homelessness, food insecurity, and a host of other social issues that are plaguing our country today and hurting so many families. So when I think of all of us as a community together in unity and acting in one accord to find solutions in a world where we are increasingly interconnected and where change is increasingly complex, I am thankful to be a part of the flock of my fellow flyers right here in Fayetteville. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Johnny Wilson, Executive Director of Fayetteville Urban Ministry. And Fayetteville has been my home since the mid-'90s, since 1995. So many of you out there in the audience have seen me grow up right before your eyes, and I hope I hadn't let you down. I want to thank Dr. Wade and Mayor Colvin for having me tonight to represent Fayetteville Urban Ministry, but more importantly, to represent the community that we all reside in. You know, growing up, I've always thought about making a difference and making an impact and bringing it all together so we can spread it amongst not just where we are, to our neighbors, to our neighborhoods, to the community, but beyond the United States. As we all have heard tonight, we got to do better. And I tell you who has the antidote for this is Fayetteville. So much opportunity more than ever is here now. So much leadership more than ever is here now. So much togetherness is here more than ever now. You know, I've said this before many times when I've have spoken in the past, but we're all born the same, breathe the same, bleed the same, and we will all pass and leave this place the same. So when we get caught up on these small differences, it's always been fascinating, but more importantly, it's disrespectful to ourselves. So let's stay together. Let's stay Fayetteville united and continue to do what we do. As my own example, each and every week and every day and every year that I've been at Fayetteville Urban Ministry, I've never had so much support in my life. The support in this room and how we look in this room is Johnny Wilson's life. And let me tell you what it's done for us. Last year, at the end of 2018, to close December, we embarked and we built a brand new Manning Find a Friend Youth Enrichment Center, $700,000 center, state of the art. We don't owe 1 cent because all of you all, the citizens, supported us. That program serves at-risk and court-involved kids. And I see a couple of familiar faces in the room tonight that used to be in the program who are now grown-ups, if that tells you a little bit of my age. However, this program went from saving kids and keeping them out of trouble to now we're sending kids in waves to colleges and universities. The last 3 years alone, we have sent 55 kids to colleges and universities, over 55 kids. So that's the work we're doing. And I know my time is up, so I'll leave you with this last number. 93 cents on every dollar that you give to us at Fayetteville Urban Ministry goes right back into the community here. So every dollar you donate, only 7 cents is going to administration, and it goes to all 4 of our programs to keep them free of cost for everyone that we serve and deliver. Thank you so much for your support, and let's continue to stay Fayetteville strong.
Mayor Colvin and Dr. Wade, thank you so much for inviting me here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ray Helton. I'm the Executive Director of Operation Inasmuch, which is a local nonprofit here in town that ministers to our low-income and homeless population. And what I'm going to do for a couple of minutes here is share with you just how important unity and collaboration is to us, because without it, we wouldn't exist and could not be effective. At Operation Inasmuch, we have over 100 organizations that support us all the time. 70 churches, 15 businesses. We collaborate with multiple government agencies here, 6 of our local colleges, and so on. We can't do it without those folks, all right? Just simply cannot. We have a small staff. But things are predictable. Why? Because we have a committed community. They come in down at Operation Inasmuch. Our focus is truly on helping homeless people come off the street. And I'm going to share a couple numbers in a minute that'll demonstrate that. But again, I will tell you, it cannot happen without the support we have. Volunteer opportunities. There's over 9,000 each year, and we have over 1,000 people that fill those, ranging from doctors, lawyers, judges, plumbers, electricians, folks from every walk of life come through our doors. All right. We've had over 7,000 different homeless men and women walk through our doors in the last 10 years. Let me share with you some successes. What's happened, again, because of what our collaborators, our partners, have unified with us to do. We opened up a men's transformation center 21 months ago, strictly homeless men. Since we opened those doors, we've had 263 men get jobs, 140 who have moved into their own place, and 51 who have made life-changing professions of faith. They've been changed forever. Okay? I would tell you that happens not because of the operation and as much staff, but it's because of everybody that comes down and makes that happen. I'm looking out here, I see many of you here who have come through our doors and have partnered with us to see success in the lives of others. And so I'll just say this, if you want to see, and there are many examples where our unity and collaboration is making a difference. But if you want to see a place where it happens every single day, come on down and visit us at Operation Inasmuch.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Halleck, and I am the most fortunate person in Fayetteville because I've been called to serve our community in a special way. I'm the executive director of Cumberland County Communicare, and we are an agency that provides lots of different services to support youth, adults, and families through many services, from pure prevention programs for the youth to adolescent and adult substance abuse services, mental health services, psychological testing, and so many other ways. And I love that. I am born and raised in Fayetteville. I moved away for just a little while, and it didn't take me long to figure out I wanted to go home. This is my home. This is where my family is. And as I look out here tonight, I thank you for being here. You could be anywhere. You could be out having dinner. You could be curled up on the couch. And that sounds good on a night like this. But you're here because this is your home, and this is important to you too. And so I do appreciate it. As I look around, I see lots of project partners and people that have been a part of what Communicare has done for so long. I love to be able to talk about Communicare and what we're doing, and I thank Dr. Wade and Mayor Colvin for allowing us to be here tonight to talk about that. I love the recovery field. We started serving adults many years ago, and I was afraid of them because we always served the juveniles. They were smaller and court-ordered to be there and to behave. So when we started serving the adults, I was very concerned about how that different population will react. It's been a beautiful time for us, and we have had over 500 people complete our program over the last year through our various programs. Our success rate is over 80%. We're talking youth that are involved in courts and families that have been displaced and have foster care issues. So Communicare celebrates that, except for the fact that we didn't do it alone. We'll never do it alone. If it wasn't for the school system, great project partner, we work together because it's important for all of us that these youth stay in school and get the education that they need. It's important that these gentlemen on our streets have Operation Inasmuch. They're right around the corner, too, to be able to go to when we desperately need housing situations for those that we serve. Johnny Wilson, we've been together for 20 years. Will be our 20th year together. I have children that come to me and adults that don't have clothes. They don't have coats. And so I can call Johnny and say, I need coats. These folks don't have anything. How can you help me? Food. They have opened their emergency assistance program when it was closed because I was in desperate need to get family food and supplies immediately. We work with the law enforcement officers. I think you guys are all great at what you do. I'm so glad to be able to work with the Fayetteville Police Department and the Sheriff's Office. You guys are very special, and over my 20 years here, you've all pitched in. You've never said no. You support youth and families in a way in this community that nobody else does. And I thank you for that. I thank the hospitals, the court system. We work a lot with the court system. And when I came, it was about being punitive. Now it's about restoring the individuals. And that is absolutely what we should be about. I do love this city. I thank you because all of you are here tonight because it's important to you. It's also important to the rest of us, and we want you to be involved. We want everybody to come together and continue to strengthen the great things that are already happening in Fayetteville and things that will continue to happen in the future. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good evening. My name is Telly Whitfield, and I am a member of the executive team here with the City of Fayetteville. My task tonight is to introduce our keynote speaker. But before I go there, I'd like to thank all of the speakers and the organizations, as well as the faith communities that are here tonight, for their participation and for their commitment to the effort of One Fayetteville. And thank you for all of you who came out tonight to be a part of this. Our keynote speaker today is the mayor of our great city of Fayetteville, Mitch Colvin. Over his years on council, he has made partnerships and collaborations in our community one of his top priorities, and that's why we're here tonight. Mayor Colvin realizes that what we're all doing tonight brings us closer together and in greater harmony, which produces better results for all of us, and we work each and every day to make Fayetteville and Cumberland County a greater place to live, work, and recreate. So without further ado, I introduce to you the 33rd Mayor and Fayetteville's native son, the Honorable Mitch Colvin.
Thank you, Dr. Whitfield, for that warm introduction, and welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us this evening. I would like to also reiterate Dr. Whitfield's gracious thankfulness to our speakers, all of the agencies represented today, faith-based community, and our other partners. Can we give them a round of applause for? And certainly I could do nothing if I were not blessed to have the support of a great team with the Fayetteville City Council. Would you all please stand so that we can recognize, have Councilmember Larry Wright, Councilmember Tisha Waddell, the Dean of the City Council, Councilmember Chris, and Councilmember Kathy Jensen. So thank you all for your support. Also would have to recognize our other elected officials. We have our State Senator Kurt Deviere, as well as our State Senator Ben Clark. Also have from the North Carolina House of Representatives, Representative Elmer Floyd. Thank you for joining us, sir. And certainly I'm committed to not keeping you very long tonight. Tonight, as you have already heard from our speakers, this is about community unity. We have seen the positive effects in Fayetteville as a result of working together and the increased accomplishments that we achieve when we collaborate. You know, J.K. Rowling famously quoted that we are only as strong as we are united and as weak as we are divided. Dr. King said that we may have all come on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now. And no man is an island in and of itself, but yet we are all connected one to another. So recently, our community's poverty situation has been highlighted front and center by several institutions. Harvard University several years ago, North Carolina Justice Center, and the Pathways for Prosperity that Senator Kurt Deviere and Councilman Larry Wright have championed. The surveys by Greater Fayetteville United Social Capital and most recently the state of North Carolina and its designation of our community as a Tier 1 county, meaning that we're one of the most poorest in North Carolina. All of these analyses make one thing abundantly clear, is that we will never recognize true success until we create opportunities for that 20% of our citizens that are living below the poverty level. So division comes in a number of ways, not only race, creed, color, religion, but also socioeconomics. And right now, we have some divide in our socioeconomics that are playing into our success or our lack thereof. So in other words, our successes are tied together. But in spite of all this, I am yet encouraged because in 2017, Fayetteville was named as one of the most diverse communities in North Carolina, which means that that is the core of our strength. In 2018, Fayetteville was named the most innovative city in the country. This accolade took years of hard work by our wonderful staff, our city manager, Manager Hewitt, and his wonderful staff, and the city council worked hard with individuals working to achieve these common goals. The possibilities are because we leveraged our greatest strength, the diversity and inclusion of our many cultures. We are a huge melting pot in Fayetteville. And with this, we have truly embodied the wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi, who understood that regardless of our differences, successful relationships that build unity in a community are based on 4 basic principles. That is respect, understanding, acceptance, and appreciation. And so let us take Mahatma Gandhi's advice to heart. Simply said, successful teamwork of our communities, agencies, elevate the quality of life for all of us. This unity gathering celebrates our commitment as a city to this very objective. So regardless of race, religion, creed, socioeconomic or education background, we are one community and one city and one Fayetteville. And may God continue to bless Fayetteville, may He continue to bless each of you, and bless our great community. So thank you for coming. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Colvin, as always, for those inspirational remarks. Thank you to our speakers, our excellent speakers, for providing us with wisdom from their respective sectors. And most importantly, thank you all for being with us this evening. At this particular time, we will adjourn. We have refreshments over in the Cape Fair room right across the hall. Thank you so much for coming out, and God bless all of you.